Hey, what's going on? What's going on? We're back once again. That's right, keeping this train rolling, this master chain rolling. That's right, it is the Master Channel Podcast. I am DJ Wild Body,
And I'm CX, the producer.
and this is the Master Channel where we discuss the ins and outs of this hip hop thing, both theoretically and technically. Yes, that's right, back for another one. We got a special treat for you guys. This time we got the comrade in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for DMV's finest, Grussle.
What's good, y'all? What's good, man? Happy to be here, man. And appreciate y'all for having me on this podcast, man. Let's get into it.
How you doing, brother?
Man, things is lovely, man. Things is going well. Was just out in the city yesterday with the fellow man, Black Mav.
Shout out Black Man.
Youth on the street. We had some foot traffic come through, man, and just show their love. And yeah, man, just want to keep it going, man.
It's all about, man. Definitely, man. Well, we're sitting here, man. It's Master Channel Podcast. We all like to start with from our guest, man. We like to ask our guest, man, take us back to where, it got started, man. When did you fall in love with production, man? Where did it start? Take us back there, man.
For me, it all started, I played in church. I played music in church. There was like a band in church that we had that would do sets. I played the saxophone back then, and I always wanted to make beats. Like I wasn't really into classical music like that, or being classically trained, or whatever they were playing at church. We would, when we were finished up, we would go try and make our own stuff. So one of my buddies that I played along with, he introduced me to FL Studio, which was the first time that I saw, somebody make a beat on their computer. Before that, I didn't know how beats got made. Like, it was like, I might have seen a machine here or there, but I was young and I didn't see the equipment. Like, you rarely saw the equipment behind the scenes and all like that. And I'm living in like suburban VA at the time. I didn't know anybody who had any gear like that. So for us, I was like a first generation software guy. Like, I was on the forefront of the guys who were starting to make beats through the computer, the Ninth Wonders, the Crisis, that school of thought. I got sucked into that, man. Being on the internet, being like 14, 15. My man showed me FL Studio and how to get it on my computer. And from there, I was hooked, man. Went to school up in upstate New York. And I met a few people up there who showed me the ropes, who were making music. And there was like a radio station on campus. So anybody who was doing beats or rapping, I was just trying to link with them so I can understand it better, the large picture. I came back home from school, and by then I had amassed, some basic recording equipment, speakers, and was just rocking off like a Dell laptop at that time that I got for school. And I came home and just tried to link with anybody who would let me record them around my way. So for me, that started in like, my hometown. And then eventually I linked up with a few artists who were in the independent record scene or label scene in the DMV. They really were the launch pad for what I do now, because they exposed me to a lot of the artists and just gave me game, man. And they cultivated me. Shouts out to DJ Skrilla, Jay Skrilla, K Beta, Sketch, Laylo. Like, I got my start with them as far as with an independent music label. And then as they amassed artists and picked up artists, I ended up producing for them and anybody that was featured on their music. And yeah, man, just started trying to make a name for myself that way. And once that kind of like the game changed, maybe 2012, 2013, the blog era was starting to die out and people had to switch it up. So I kind of put my focus more towards trying to get my live game right. I'm trying to get my live sets right after that.
Okay.
But still was doing projects for artists. Did projects with lyricists, who now goes by Rob Regal. Did a project with Tef Wesley called Pens and Needles. Did a project with Dose Capone. An EP with one of my good buddies, Liquid X. And in between those projects, we just put out placements to artists here, artists in other cities that I might have linked with at a festival or whatever would happen. And yeah, it's still going today. I'm still putting out joints to those guys, and you know, they come back to it. But yeah, man, it's been a great ride so far, man.
You also had a big community to also nurture when you were, you know, transitioning and getting your skill set together. That's dope, man. You actually had went to school. You had people that did, shared the, were like-minded. Then you got home, and then you had people around you. That's dope, man. Not a lot of people have that opportunity.
I was sold on that, man. I really was. I'm kind of an introvert. Like, I like being out and about, but for the most part, I'm good in one room. Mm-hmm. A machine in there, and I'm good. Some records in there, I'm good. And I was fortunate to meet a lot of good people along the way who were always, involved in the culture in one way or another. So, like, when I went to college, there was a studio on campus that I found out about. Ended up working there because one of my roommates worked there. And he was recording people on campus, people off campus, from the city. I went to school in Rochester, New York. There ain't squat to do up there but chill because it's cold 9 months of the year. Mm-hmm. So, as soon as I found a spot that I could call my own and be there all the time, that's when I really tried to that was I was honing my skills, but I was being able to make mistakes without really paying too big of a price of a penalty for it. Mm-hmm. So, we weren't putting out records how you would see with most indies or majors, but I could be able to get my chops up and make a name for myself out there. And then I just tried to bring that back home from the skills that I learned up there. And there was, at that time, there was a lot of people that I was unbeknownst to me, there was people that, even in my local circles, from cats I would see on the block or around the way, that were connected. And yeah, just being in the right circles, man, led to the other opportunities. Meeting the right people who, were eventually opening up for the major acts at the larger venues in DC, Maryland, and Virginia.
So you credit a lot of that. So let me ask you this, and let me ask you this: how important are relationships in what we do? How important is that, percentage-wise?
Relationships are paramount. I gotta say that, man. It was the relationships that I had that made my, lack of a better phrase, my wildest dreams came true from just being loyal, being faithful, and putting in the work. But you got to spend time with people. Otherwise, if that trust isn't there, they're not going to think of you for that next opportunity. Right. They're not going to think of you 10 years from now for a potential opportunity. I still get guys that I did tracks for years ago, and I'll see them out and about, and they'll still approach me for music, and they'll still be like, Dylan, you already know.
That's what's up.
But yeah, it's a huge factor, man. Relationships get you anywhere in this game. To me, it's worth more than money.
Yeah, of course. You're definitely right about that.
It'll get you in a room that money can't get you in that room. And I'll say that for future placements, because the relationships that I have now, that might get me a placement 5 years from now.
Right. Well, let me ask you something. You said you were in college and you were doing software stuff, this, that, and other. What were your explain how you went from that to where you're currently at now, as far as method and equipment and everything as well.
When I first started out, most of the OGs or people that I admired their work, they weren't using software. They were using analog gear. And all the gear that I had basically emulated that. Like, so once I learned the software, I learned, hey, this all comes from somewhere. Like that knob is on another piece of gear that's real. It's not a VST. It's something else. So I was just obsessed with, find the source, find where that stuff comes from, and you'll then know what they know. That basically explains the philosophy. Like, I started out with software, and then as I hung out with more and met more people who I would say are my mentors and people in my support system in this music, like as I met them, I learned, yo, man, it all comes from analog. It all starts with turntables. It all starts with a record. And I'm learning, the sound that I wanted to curate came from those things. So that's what I started getting. I started getting turntables, buying records, buying synthesizers, finding out what producers that I enjoyed their music. Where does that come from? Buy that gear. That was just like, once I got out of school, I was able to fund and support my endeavor. Once I got a job and all, and I just kept it going. Like, if there was something else that I heard, I went for that. I went for that source.
So what are you currently using now?
I got myriad of things I use. I kind of look at it like a starting five. Like right now, my starting five is turntable, MPC, record, and then I got like a couple of synthesizers, and every now and then I'll pull one off the floor and pull a guy off the bench. So I got like a Moog Fatty, little Fatty. I might play over stuff. Like when I want to add another dynamic to a record, I'll just pull out that instrument and play that. And then that'll set me apart with my sounds. Like these days, a lot of cats are using the same presets, same boards, same VSTs, same software DAW, and it's turning into like gear war. It's turning in, like that's a common conversation, and use this or that. But if you find the source, it's the same stuff. It's all the same stuff, same knobs, same functions. But I like I got an SH101 chilling up in here. I'm sorry, not a 101, a 201. Excuse me. Got Rolling Gaia chilling up in here. The mic on the bench right now.
The white roller jump the guy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's more of a dance synthesizer. I was putting some of those sounds back in joints, maybe like 2013 and all. But I'll rotate them in and out, like every 6 months or so. Or usually it's like when I move from one place to another place, everything gets packed up, but not everything gets brought back out. So some of that stuff is just chilling. And I might pull it out one day and be like, I gotta get this sound back, or I gotta get I just come back and revisit the sounds, and it comes together.
It's funny you say everybody's stuff sounds the same. I mean, because of the presets and everything. But I find it mighty funny. I remember I go a ways back as well, but I'm just going to go back at least 15 years, 12 years. Everybody had an MPC. They either had a Motif, a Phantom,
Triton.
or Triton.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? But yet people were making this stuff sound totally different. You know what I'm saying? It's like for a keyboard player, you can put any keyboard in their hand and they'll make it sound magical. Whereas though for a lot of the non-keyboard playing people, we're like, we're going through the presets and this, that, and other. You know, it's like putting a point and shoot camera in a professional's hand, putting a DSLR in a non-professional hand, and then you're gonna be like, oh man, I can't make this thing do nothing, but they can. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's more people trying to, they're just replicating the same thing. It's not really the equipment, it's what they're replicating. Now, the drum sounds, of course, we know the 808, they're just overdoing. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think it's just that everybody's just following suit with the modern music. You know what I'm saying?
I think also, it's the whoever's picking the music, that guy he's not changing it up. And that guy changed too. The roles of that guy, he plays a part. Whoever, like, you know, kind of it, or whoever's curating the music, they're making it seem like, yo, we're only accepting this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And back then it wasn't everybody was a curator.
Right.
They didn't have the platform.
Right.
All right. Let me ask you this, man. Been at it for a while. I know, you know, we've had you know, this generation, the last generation, man. What are your thoughts today on the evolution of commercial hip hop? What are your thoughts on that?
The evolution of commercial hip hop,
as
I understand it. I feel like there's still room to grow. People can expand the sound and still pay reverence to, you know, to the core foundations. Commercial hip hop, you gotta define it as a certain thing. Like, to me, hip hop, you gotta use something from the past in a new way.
Okay.
And then for me, that satisfies the criteria. But if you have something that's completely original, is it hip hop and can it be successful in the hip hop space? Yeah, but is it truly hip hop? I can't call it.
Yeah.
I can't say that one is eclipsing the other right now. It's starting to balance itself out because the curator doesn't have as much control as the next curator does. So I can make a playlist of what I think is hot, commercial hip hop, and then 2 million other people can too.
Right.
I think it's just, it's starting to return back to the days of old where you got to do something special to stand out in the market and then become commercial. And what used to be commercial for a period of time, that time's shortened now, and you got to change it up. The sound changes every 18 months now. It's kind of like Moore's Law.
Yeah.
So it'll switch up.
Moore's Law has been broken, man.
Yeah. So I guess
that used to be 18 months. That used to be 18 months.
Yeah. I'm saying, like, the sound, like, what was it? Like right now, all the beats are starting to sound like whatever the Baby does.
Right.
Distorted bass sounds.
Man.
Not much melody. Right. Not a really extensive melody. It's just simple. It feels dumbed down. Like, I don't know if a beat can sound smart or dumb, but
if it was a beat,
that's what I hear. It's like, this sounds very ignorant, but it's catchy. That's where I think a lot of the people are gravitating towards now. Like, if you make like Lex Luger type beats, you kind of seen as old school now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah, like, but you can put it out, and it's just like, now it's not really, what is it? It's not scrutinized like it was during the blog era. Like now it's just like, whatever the charts like, that's what it is.
Right. That's crazy that like I remember like Gucci now is an OG now. Gucci Man. I remember when he first came on the scene now. And like, Gucci Man birthed a lot of the babies and Migos flying around now. But it's crazy how that thing evolved so quickly. We just was, talking about the crunk music. Yeah.
Gucci's been a part of all of the generations of trap music, all the iterations of trap. He's been a part of all of that, from the Shorty Red era, who I think is like the godfather of trap music. But it's changed at least twice. Like it's on its way to change again. I'm thinking, in the next year or so, you're gonna hear different type of beats. And I think also now, like, it's getting acceptable where rapping off a beat is cool, or somehow it makes it through, it makes the cut.
Right.
It's getting accepted now more amongst the youth.
What's his name? Blueface?
You got another divide. You got another schism of schools of thought. So I think that's where it is right now for the commercialization of hip hop. Like you're gonna see another great schism where you're gonna have these school of thought and you're gonna have the guys be like, nah, it should be this way. And then you got the guys way, way back like, nah, y'all need to just do something different altogether.
I mean, that's the same thing like with battle rap. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
True.
I can't. I don't knock nobody for what they do, but I grew up battle rap. You rapping off a beat. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're not doing no slam poetry against this, that person. That's what it reminds me of, and it's no hit on it, because some of them dudes are vicious with that. You know what I'm saying?
I enjoy it. Yeah.
I'm just used to, that's like saying, we're gonna have a DJ battle, and our DJ battle is just a mixes. Nah, ain't how DJ battles used to be. It's like the DMC World Championship, supremacy. We going at it. That's what I call a DJ battle. So it's like the rap battles now. It's like no beat. You get to say a word. You pause for like 10 minutes. Then come back. You know what I'm saying? And finish it off. Like I ain't used to that.
I think each generation has their idea of what the foundation is until somebody from the other generation says, but this was before that.
Right.
And until they're enlightened, that's the school of thought. And I think as we keep going down with, as time passes, you're getting people who are more and more reluctant to be like, I'm gonna really go find out where this comes from. Even though the resources are available to them now to figure it out faster than ever before. I think I was able to gain a lot of knowledge with this because I was part of the first generation of the internet as a mainstream concept. So I was able to like look up all the guys who came before me and like study their catalogs and be able to figure out, okay, this is where it comes from. This is how you do it. This is what's respected. This is the source.
Right. I mean, it's like you said, I know all of you guys see it. You're in these groups on Facebook or whatever, whether it's an NPC group or whatever group you're in. And some new guy comes on there, I need help. Help me with this, that, and other. And I'm like, help you? I'm like, man, they got 1 million videos of the device you're using on YouTube. I come from the era when you bought a device, the manual was about the size of a New York telephone book. You know what I'm saying? So it was no internet. You had to, and it wasn't no dude that was close to you that you could say, well, I'm going to Grussle house because Grussle got an SB1200 just like me. No, it wasn't a lot of dudes when I was coming up that had SB1200s. You know what I'm saying?
you said the key right there, man. And I think I did that more so than anybody else out here, at least in Northern Virginia. I sat with damn near everybody.
Right.
Who, if you were making beats and you were respected or you had placements, I was trying to come through. I was trying to come through, at least sit with you, have a session, play beat tennis, play beats back and forth, so I could get an idea, you know, where I was on the totem pole. It was my stuff making the cut? You know, if he's getting a placement, is my workflow even in the same room as him? And you sit with some guys and you get a reality check, or go to an open mic and you'll get a reality check and be like, maybe I'm not grinding as much as I was, really, you know, that I thought. And then you go back and it inspires you.
Well, I mean, I think that we all need you know, set with each other, you know, as far as musically, and be around each other and like that. And I mean, because you know, all of us are introverts basically, because all of us are sitting and doing this stuff by ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We don't have a person in the room making beats with us at the same time. So when we get those opportunities to be around each other, I think we need to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because like we all make each other better.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Community, that was the aspect that I was longing for. And I think that's really why I still do this, regardless of, you know, if I get placements or if I get money. Like, this is my community. This is like some people, they wait for open gym, or they, you know, they try and get in running at the court, or they go to the sand lot and they, you know, that's their spot. For me, with beats, I finally found my community that when I was a kid, I didn't excel at sports. I wasn't really that athletic. I was treated like a nerd. So I was like, you know, what can I nerd out with that no one else from where I'm from is better than me at? And then I just stuck with this. And I'm really appreciative to even have a community of guys to even be able to, you know, share it with, because it's rare. It's rare to find your tribe.
Yeah. Definitely, you definitely still sharp and still aspect. I don't know if I would have still been, you know, as inspired or motivated to continue to, you know, try to do what I do. I mean, it took a lot of, I mean, shit, just for instance, man, I remember 2013, you know, I had put it down for a while. I stopped DJing when I moved down south, and as far as production was concerned, it was always a compliment to what I did DJ wise, so it wasn't really my main priority. But, you know, I just remember watching the Digital Hustle, man, Scratch Magazine all day. You guys like yourself, CX, Kev Brown, those guys brought me back then, really taking this shit seriously, man. And without that, definitely, I probably would have been playing video games right now just to buy my time. But now now I want to take it to a next level and try to learn how to get better and always stay a student. And I think things like that in place, and the community that we're involved with, both Facebook wise and everything else, you know, as far as, you know, how you guys have your community as well, out and about and around the DMV, man. Stuff like that, like we were talking before, that's gonna bring this stuff back to people coming up from the underground now to surface and like, hey, we're here. This is what we do. And you gotta appreciate that, man. You have to appreciate that. It's you know,
it's a great community of guys who just want to get better. And I kind of look at it like church. Like, it's like the hip hop church, but then there's different, you know, there's different sects of the church, different segments and all. And yeah, my segment, definitely the beats. And yeah, I've always gravitated towards that, and was trying to be in those spaces where, yeah, you're gonna get people from all walks of life who are making music or have been making music forever. Like, it's definitely taught me, yo, don't sleep on people. Like, there's people out there that you'll never see online who might be the greatest ever.
Mm-hmm. Right. And shoot.
did that for a while, man. I never, the first time I came out was when Gadget did the video. Like I was sitting in the cut for a long time, long time, and seeing all the brothers in the area, you know what I'm saying? You, Mav, Kev, all these brothers, and it's Theory, Choppy, all y'all. That it's inspiring, and that's why we brought you on, because you inspire us as well. So
likewise.
See, when I met Jordan, I met him in Detroit, man. I've been a big fan for a long time. I mean, definitely been a real big fan. I'm like, wow, man, getting to meet you and stuff, man. And even to sit down with you, man, break bread, man. That shit was dope, man.
Yeah, that was an awesome experience, and it ties into, I guess, the next chapter of what I want to do with this music is to be able to bring together people in more of like a cypher mode, like what we were doing in Detroit. And I'm discovering that with like different other producers, like with you. I've done that with Mav. I think CX got in on the cypher one time when we were up in Detroit, and just bringing other people in and learning people's styles on the fly.
Yep.
But it comes back to DJing.
Yeah. Like you said earlier about collaboration. I mean, this day and age, we definitely could collab. Like, you guys are doing, we're doing in Detroit. The technology we have now, that Ableton Link stuff is crazy.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's on everything now, all the way down to the iPad. You know what I'm saying? So whereas though everybody could like literally be synced together at one time. You know what I'm saying?
More grateful about Ableton. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Crazy. It's crazy.
I don't want to be late getting on that ship with it. But I think I've tried to simplify it where if you have your own workflow, I can work with your workflow. Or if you have this piece of gear, okay, I know at least, we can combine the elements. And my thing is, as long as you can loop, record, and change like the pitch, you can work with anybody.
Right.
Like as long as you have those basic functions of what a DJ would have with a mixer, you can collaborate with
definitely
anybody.
Bring that.
All of the pieces of gear are gonna have that. They're gonna have those functions. If you have another function that keeps everybody in line, I'm all for it. I'm trying to see how that works, because that's one of the major hurdles with the collaboration is when you first start out, everyone's in their own bag. Everyone's on their own time, and you got to learn how to play with each other. So, it kind of goes back to like being like band members and being on stage and learning like cues and learning like where to pick up where somebody else is and learn how to play off each other.
Right.
Yep. I think you can only achieve that through collaboration. You can't watch somebody do that. You can be in the crowd and see it happen, but in the moment, if you're not there doing it, it's not going to stick.
I'll say this. Me and Mav, one time, was over my mother's house. And me and Mav made 5 beats in probably like less than an hour. You know what I'm saying? It was like same way we did in Detroit. I make a little something. It's like the handoff fact.
Absolutely.
Handoff.
Yeah.
Handoff.
Because I think that's where cats get hung up. Like, I know when I was making beats young, there would always be a point where like I'm looking for another element to complete this track. And now after doing it for so long, like that kind of went away, but now I'm looking for it again, because if I collaborate with somebody, they may surprise me with something out of my wildest dreams right there in that moment. And to me, that's priceless. Like, I'll pay to see that. If like I could get Dilla and Madlib to do a collaboration and play beats live on stage with each other, I'd pay for that. I'd pay to see that.
Right.
And I think if you can duplicate that with other people, I think that's what's missing, is like the live element of the game is just been reduced to, okay, I'm gonna just turn 3 knobs on the SP404. And there's no surprise element. Like, you can have dope beats, but if you got beats that are live on the spot, that to me eclipses that.
Yeah.
Like, it don't get no closer to the source than that.
You think
Right.
you think Dilla would if he'd have been alive, you think he would have seen him go on the software side of the house? You see him with like a push or machine or something?
I don't doubt that he would have evolved, but I think he would have had more of a influence to how we see things now, more so than if he hadn't passed. Like you know how Dre has the headphones? Dilla would have came out with something instrumental to the beat game that we all use in our daily, that we all cop. And he would have been probably one of the first to brand his product, because like I didn't know what a 3000 was, an MPC 3000 was, until I heard about Dilla on a 3000.
Wow.
And now Dilla's 3000's in the Smithsonian. So without a doubt, he would have definitely partnered with somebody, or maybe Roger Lynn or somebody who was like a prime manufacturer and would have created something that we all would have used today. Because like, there's still people now who are like, yo, he's had the best drums hold up over years, more so than any other producer.
I could see him with his line of moves. Like, he had the one he had designed for him. I could see him having a whole line of that, him getting with a move.
Right. Like, I didn't want a Mini Moog Voyager until I saw Dilla working with a Mini Moog Voyager.
Wow. Yeah, I could see him messing. I could see him definitely messing with definitely the software, MPC software, or maybe Ableton or something like that. But he probably would have kept the 3000 around. Probably would have made that a part of the setup.
I think this is what I think. I mean, this is how I look at it. Dilla, I think he would have evolved like all of us had. I mean, and this is my thing. Like, when I always say this, once you've used, hardware like that, and grew up on hardware and stuff like that, no matter whatever you get on, you're gonna make it sound somewhat like because you know what it sounds like. You know what that hardware sounds like. You know what I'm saying?
That's a very good point. When I first started, I used to do a thing where I would try and get people to guess if I made the beat on software or on hardware. Try and get people to, like, if they couldn't distinguish the two, then I knew I was doing okay.
Right.
It was hitting.
Well, both of y'all,
I truly believe that. I truly believe that like, those who evolve, they're gonna do it. I mean, Premier has done it. You know what I'm saying? He jumped over to the Renaissance and stuff like that. I mean, to me, those so-called top producers. I mean, you look at Timbaland, and I don't even like no hit on him, but I mean, he was an ASR 10 dude, or always been, and now you see him on the push. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. Just like Jazzy Jeff was an MPC dude. You see him on the push and everything. Like, it's inevitable for everybody to evolve. Just like you had those musicians, jazz musicians, keyboardists, piano players transition to, hardware units, motifs, and then like Herbie Hancock, he evolved from a regular grand piano all the way to a Rose, to this, that, and other, to a Core Oasis, to software. You know what I'm saying? So those in the know and those who are creative like that, they're going to evolve. That's just what happens. They're not going to just be stuck on that one machine, even though they know it in and out. They're going to evolve. You know what I'm saying?
The ones who evolve are on the cutting edge of the sound. Like
Right.
they're the ones who make that sound that make everybody else chase it. Like when, what was it? Like nowadays, everyone's trying to take credit for using distorted bass lines.
Right.
Or using distortion in that joint. When we really don't know really, you know, who coined it. We know who got rich off it first. But yeah, the guys who evolve, they're always going to do something like bending their bass lines or, you know, putting like a portamento on that joint that's going to eventually change how everybody does it. And then, you know, we get sick of it after 18 months. Somebody does something new, or they had an old beat that cuts through, and now everybody's doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You talk to them, they're like, man, that beat's 5-6 years old, bro. That joint's just been chilling for the right moment.
Yeah, I like how you use Serato with your production. Like that was something I learned from you, how you kind of implement that with what you're doing. So you got kind of the DJ element with the production element. I think that's dope.
You can't, chasing that live feel, you can't do that without DJing.
Yeah.
If you're not a DJ, you're gonna fall flat. You can't play live. You can program all day, unless you can program live. That's different, because then you're limited to your gear. Can your gear run while it's programming? Can you run it live? Can you program while it's running? Once I found gear that could do that, then I was like, now I can do live stuff.
Right.
But yeah, by watching DJs, if I didn't watch DJs, none of that would really like have come to fruition.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like I just wanted to do, I was always amazed how DJs did that. Like I watched a lot of DMC battles, all the classics, you know, Rock Raider, A-Track, DJ AM, anybody who won the DMCs in the past 20 years, I'm trying to watch how you come up with stuff on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
And because that beats, and it's just like most people, they don't want to hear a beat longer than a minute or a minute 30 if nobody's rapping on it.
Right.
So you gotta do something different. You gotta switch it up.
It's funny you say Rock Raider. Rock Raider was living out here.
Man, that 96 routine where he's wearing the X-Man shirt.
Yeah, I
One of
remember.
my favorite routines ever. But it also shows you, like, you can play beats, but then you can be a showman and play beats too.
Yeah.
And yeah, like bringing in that element of showmanship, that's something that separates the good guys from the great guys.
Right on. I always like seamless performances. No dry air, no dead air. There's always something going on. Music transitioning, you know, when, like you say, when to transition, you know, how to transition, what to follow, you know. It's always
all DJ fundamentals.
Yep.
Things DJs worry about. And I'm trying to tell cats, yo, it's just like if production is multiplication, then DJing's addition. Like you gotta know one is the basis for the other. You can't have one without the other, but it's kind of the same thing. It's one and the same thing. You're still dealing with numbers. It's still mathematics.
Great point, man. Well, I think it's come time, but CX is gonna give you the $10,000 challenge. Go ahead and explain that to you.
Okay.
Yo, this.
You ready for this?
Yeah, man. Go ahead, shoot.
All right. You just went to the mailbox. Matter of fact, we ain't even gonna talk about snail mail. You just checked your email, and in your email from GC LLC. I mean, not LLC. GC Corporation Guitar Center. You just got a $10,000 store credit Guitar Center card.
Whoa.
You have to spend it in store. Cannot sell none of this stuff. You actually have to spend it all.
You got to spend all the money and you spend it all in one place, huh? So, what did they used to have? The Toys R Us sweepstakes. We run through the store and clear the shelves.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Fortunately, Guitar Center was my Toys R Us, bro. It used to be before I kind of moved on to mom and pop shops. But if I'm getting gear in Guitar Center, if you give me a second, I can pull up the site.
you have to pick out $10,000 worth of gear.
But what am I gonna spend it on? I'm gonna spend it on probably synthesizers. And that, when you go into Guitar Center, they have that one room. It's all segmented.
Right.
So you got one room and it's all vintage synths, or it's all the latest synths that came out in the past year. And they might have a vintage synth in the back or whatever. That kind of is the reason why I kind of went to mom and pop stores, because you get older synths from back in the day that are a little bit more rare. But if it's Guitar Center, it's gonna be mostly new all stuff from like the big guys. Roland, I'm a big Roland Corporation fan. They just came out with a new version of the Phantom. I'm probably pick that up. Probably gonna.
All right. This is what you gotta do. You gotta say what you're gonna get.
Okay.
And while you're saying that, Wildbot is gonna be there calculating everything. He's gonna tell you when you hit 10,000.
I'm gonna just throw out a few, because what I just said, maybe the two of those, we talking like $3-4 grand each. We going for the big
two Phantoms?
No, just one.
Okay, I got you.
Not the 8. We'll cut down on the price. We'll get the 61 key Phantom. That's
still 3,000.
Yeah, that's probably like 2,500, 3K, brand new. We gonna run with, if they have any Moog gear in there, I'm taking a look at that. Probably I would like get that new version of the Moog Mother, that Voyager's in there. I'm copping that. That's another 2-3K. So what we at? Like we at 4 or 6K. Probably gonna step up and get one of them newer MPCs, man. I'm still on the 2,500, but I'm probably gonna scoop that live. It's portable. Okay. It's something that I can incorporate into my live set, and I can play well with somebody else with that joint on the fly.
Down to $3,300.
Ooh.
Yeah, man. If I'm gonna get anything else that off the top of my head, I'm gonna probably get a new mic. I haven't got a new mic in a while. I'm looking at something that is probably a UA mic or Universal Audio mic, or if they got them there, a Newman. I'm gonna get a Newman 287 or 87. If they got a new one, I'm trying to remember the model number, but I saw it in the studio recently. But Newman mics, I'm probably gonna scoop a Newman mic or two. Gonna see what new controllers they got out there for DJing. But likely, I have a controller, I have turntables. I'm probably gonna get like a CDJ, one of the newer CDJs that they got that have all the newer features. Probably get one of those.
So that's probably 1,200.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll get an updated mixer, one of them new mixers. I'm a guy who started out with a Rane TTM 5.7. I still got that joint. That joint still works.
You got $1,100.
How much you got left?
1,100.
About 1,100.
Yep.
Guitar Center. Probably gonna buy some kind of recording interface that'll allow me to record on the fly. Like get a mixer and get a recording interface.
Got the new 10 scams for 900 that it's kind of like
well, when I say a mixer, like something that's tailored towards DJing.
Oh, okay.
Like a mixer, like an S9 or They got the Rain. There's a new Rain mixer
Mm-hmm.
that goes along with the 12s. That joint's pretty sexy. I'm not sold on them Rain 12s yet with the no needles.
Yeah, I seen those.
Oh,
I
I'm buying a pair of phasers. I'm
Yeah.
buying those. Yeah, you can put that on there because I'm done with needles. I'm sick of them.
What are those running? What's the blue book on those summers?
On those phasers, I think they're like $400, $500.
2 of those.
Nah, for the pair.
Okay.
Yeah, for the pair, you can buy one of those $400, I think. Yeah, and that would get me up to speed on the cutting edge, I feel, with that equipment right there. I've been kind of, this is a unique question because like I've been using the same gear. I haven't bought anything new for about a year now. Like the latest thing I got was a Roland DJ 808, which kind of combined the functions.
I got the 505, man. How you like that 808?
The DJ 808, when they showed me the drum machine inside,
Yeah.
I was sold because I was looking at, they made a replica of the TR 808, and it's just a mini version, but it's not the same circuitry. So the original one had a special part that Roland only made for the 12,000 808s that were ever released. And
I had one.
if you have one and the part works, it's rare as hell because that part breaks. Like I think it's the tube. If that part breaks, they don't make that part anymore, and your 808's dead. So they made this replica one, but it uses analog circuitry. It's like an emulator, if you will. 808.
You know, it's crazy you said the 808 because when I brought my 808 from my homeboy who worked for Timberland, we actually wrote the song "Girl You Know It's True" by Milli Vanilli. He sold that 808 to me in like 87, and he had it modded, and he had it modded so it could use MIDI.
Wow.
Yeah, because a lot of them machines back then didn't have MIDI on.
Nah, there was no MIDI until like about that time, 86, 7. Like it was Fairlight. That was it. That was the closest you got.
Yeah, he sold me. I got all my drum machines from him. He sold me an 808 back then. He sold me a 626. He sold me a Kai first one with the 525 disc back then, the black one, the S12 or something like that.
Yeah.
He sold me that. He sold me a DMX, a DX, Allen and Heath board. Back then, I mean, he had all the gear, like I said. So I was buying his gear secondhand, basically. Back then.
If you can't get it first, that's the way to do it, man. That's
preferred.
Have a preferred plug, and that's why I said, going back to mom and pop stores, they gonna have the link on the gear. They gonna know what happened to it. You know what it been through. They gonna have the inside scoop, man.
You know, it's crazy you said that, Grussle. I'm gonna tell you why. All my gear back then, I either got it from him or I got it from Chuck's.
Chuck,
what they call Washington Music Center.
Major key alert. Major key.
Like I knew Miss Levin. Her husband owned it, which was Chuck, and Miss Levin, was his wife. And I remember my SP1200 got broke. Like there was something wrong with it after I got it when it first came out. And I brought it back to Chuck's, and she was like, "Oh, we'll fix it for you, no problem." Because they had Protect inside of there.
Wow! It used to be one building.
Yeah, all that was one building.
Because I'm familiar with Protect, but they're on Tech Road, which is like 5-10 miles from there.
Yeah. They was in there, and then the same SP1200 I had, I brought from them when it came out. I brought it back up there and tried to get them to fix it, and they were like, "Oh man, we don't even have the EPROMs for this." I'm like, "I brought it from y'all when it came out." A lot of that gear I brought back then. I brought my S950 back there. I brought my MPC 60, the same one I sold to D-Dot from there. Matter of fact, that's where I met D-Dot at, him and Ron, at Chuck's.
Chuck Levins is like the mecca for gear in the DMV. Like, if you were looking for something that was special or something that was rare, or like I've been to all the music stores, they always had it. They always had it at Chuck Levins. The first mini move I ever saw was there. Like,
just what y'all refer to up Chuck's.
No, see, back then it was only 2 music stores. It was Chuck, Venomins, and Venomins actually was Guitar Center. Where Guitar Center it was in Rockville. That was Venomins. And you either go here or there. You know what I'm saying? And the top studio back then in the area was Omega, which was in a house at the time. You understand what I'm saying? It wasn't a school, it was in a house. And the place where, for those who don't know, Omega is the same school that Young Guru graduated from. That's where he got his engineering degree, from Omega.
The first independent label that I produced records with, one of the label heads went to Omega.
Right.
And then he would bring in people that were, alumni of Omega, and I met a lot of people who went to that school. I took a tour there. I had thought about going there. Even got some of the tuition information, all of that.
Right.
It was either go to Omega or buy a new car. And I bought a new car. And with that car, I went to every state, went everywhere, because I knew that I could be able to still get the information that I got at Omega just by sitting under engineers.
Right.
By going to those places and being in those spaces, you can learn the same stuff and you ain't got to drop, $20K in a year's time. I'm not saying that what Omega offers isn't really valuable. It's access to the original way of how it was done.
Gotcha.
But you got to pay for that. But I found another way. I found people that were associated with it and learned that way. So there's more than one way to skin a cat, but going back to what y'all said earlier, it's relationships. If you have that relationship, you can get in the door to places that normally you're going to have to give up the bread first.
So true, man. You just think of how many people have the skill set, have the talent, and just don't have good relationship skills, or don't know how to put their stuff out there and get seen, or And I think that live, like you said, man, the live streaming on the sites, that's a big deal too, man. I think that's very, very important, and to have a good setup with that as far as going on live Instagram. Here's what my set is. I'm gonna do this right here. I kind of pull back from that because I want to get it perfected to where it's going to be a good production. When you see my name come up, and hey, you're going to sit down and have a good time. So I think that's very important to definitely a necessity, as far as, putting your music out there. Same thing. I think it's in that same vein.
Yeah, you got to have that good first impression, and you got to have a lasting impression as well. Yeah. A lot of people who are successful in this industry simply because of consistency. Most people will appreciate that more so than your talent. Like, you don't have to be the best guy. You don't have to be the most talented, but if you show the heart and the consistency, people will rock with you, man. People will be loyal to your cause, and they'll spread the word. Ultimately, that's what you want.
All right.
People spread the word.
So tell us, man, how do we tell the audience, how can we check you out online, man? Give us some of your handles.
Absolutely. I'm on most social media platforms as Grussle, Grussle. On Twitter, @Grussle. On Instagram, I have a caveat. It's Grussle_23. The 23 means a lot to me. A lot of greatness associated with that number. I'm also on, if you check SoundCloud, you can check me out on SoundCloud. I got quite a few tracks up there, but it's
I know
my discography and some good, some gems here and there. Some remixes are up there. A lot of beats are up there, but a lot of my past work that may not have been released as a full project, the gems are up there, man, on that SoundCloud.com/Grussle.
That's Sean P. That Sean P joint still on the SoundCloud? You did a Sean P dedication type of
a tribute mix with Sean Price.
Yep.
Sean Price is one of my all-time favorite rappers.
Mine too.
People aren't rapping like Sean Price anymore. But I had to do it. When I learned of his passing, I had to just give it up and do a mix of like my favorite Sean Price joints. And truth be told, I'm trying to move into that space where I'm doing a lot of beats, but they're all mixes.
Yeah.
It's something that, you know, you can put in and for the long haul or the drive. Around here in the DMV, if you ain't got a car, you ain't going nowhere. So I put it as a mix, and if you're sitting in traffic, you can just rock out to this long mix, man. So I got plenty of those joints on the way. Most of my new stuff is going to be released as a solid mix that you'll either hear me play out or I might drop it online. As far as what's coming up the pipe, just putting out music with artists from here in the DMV and linking with people in other cities, Detroit, Atlanta, Buffalo, Rochester. You're going to hear my music for a while, man. I got some joints that are lined up, and they'll just be coming out and dropping in the years, in the months to come. Stuff with artists from around here and local to my hometown. You'll be seeing that drop shortly too. Quarter.
Well,
you guys welcome to hit me up on any of those social media sites, and I'll be posting the latest and greatest there too. So that's where you can check me out. I don't post every day, but when I post, I try and give y'all something good.
So, you guys heard it, man, from here, man. Grussle, man, I want to thank you, my brother, for definitely sitting down with us today, man. Had a great time today, man. I also want to tell you, man, continue to do what you do. You've been very inspiring. Little do you know, I look at myself and you have inspired me, so I can imagine how many other people. There's only a few people I like to say that crack the code, and you definitely are one of them as far as this production thing is concerned, man. So.
Oh man, I didn't do it by myself, man, but thank you for having me on this podcast. As always, man, it's all love, man.
Thank you, brother.
At y'all for just as much as y'all show me love, man. Y'all been doing it probably more longer than I have, and I always gotta respect my OGs out here, man. I'd love to do this again, man, and whatever you guys in the DMV, just hit me up, man. I'm around, and we working.
Okay. No doubt.
You know, I'll catch up with you eventually, man. We're in basically somewhat the same area, so I'll catch up with you definitely, bro.
Yeah, man, we got some stuff coming up soon with Gadget. Yeah, man, we'll be seeing you out and about.
Damn right. So, in closing, that's gonna do it for this episode of the Master Channel. Comrade Grussle. I am DJ Wide Body.
I am CX, the producer.
And this was the Master Channel podcast, when we discussed the ins and outs of this hip-hop thing, both theoretically and technically. For Grussle and CX, the producer, I am DJ Wide Body saying join us next time on the Master Channel. This is DJ Wide Body saying peace.